everyone, another Saturday, another Saru show. Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different for Saru show. We're going to be drawing today. You guys are, a lot of people have asked, about doing like a drawing tutorial type thing. Well, now we're going to do one live. So no drawing tutorial necessary. We're just going to go ahead and get right into it. We're going to start drawing some chibis. And speaking of chibis, we do have a Sakura Wars charm that we're going to go ahead and do a donation pool for. The goal is for 100. We're going to make her a regular charm. But if we don't make it to the $100 goal, if we make it past 60, then I'll do it as a mini charm. But that's the charm that we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be doing the Sakura Shinguji charm from Sakura Taisen. And yeah, so today we're going to be drawing, I don't know if something is supposed to pop up there or not. It might be my cable. Give me 1 second here.
And just connect it back.
We're going to see if we can, there we go. All right. Does that work? There it is. Yay. All right. So tonight we're going to be drawing some chibis. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and say hi to everybody. We've got 16 people here. Not a whole lot, probably because we started a little later than normal. We just got caught up with stuff. So, hopefully those people will start to show up as time goes on. But hey, right now, 16 people, small, intimate crowd. It's all right. Let's go ahead and take a look and see who is in the chat right now. We've got, Vink is here. Welcome, Vink. Jinchan is here. We got Marilyn Monrovars, Jeff Allison, Brandon Cruz, Cassie Mew Mews. Let's see here. Who else do we got here? Is that it? And Dalty-kun, oh my gosh, that's a name from the past. Hello, Dalty. Welcome if you're still here. I don't know if you're still here. He says, how you gonna put the stream on starting soon for 15 minutes? Get in here, sir. I know! We normally put that up for like 10 minutes. But today we late. Jeffrey is here. Oh my gosh, Jeffrey, welcome. And I've seen all these people I haven't seen in such a long time, which is cool. Very awesome. Thanks for stopping in. And Brandon313, who is part of the army, the Saru crew army of Brandons.
Randrick's here too.
And Randrick is here.
And
I'm
Corbin.
trying to collect all of the Brandons. And Corbin is here as well. He says I came. That's hot. All right, let's see. And Snark Marks is here. He says draw a pair of cupcakes followed by 2 fried eggs, 2 melons, 2 milk bags, and twin face pillows. What? Is that like, I've got my Bob Ross shirt in honor of today's first draw together stream. Like, I've drawn lots of stuff live, right? Like pixel art or whatever, or I've done drawing videos, but this is the first time where I'm going to be drawing something live that we can all follow along with. So let me go ahead and explain how this is going to go. So I'm using ArtRage, which is the closest program that I could think of to use that works like paper. And the rules apply to paper as well. So if you've got a pen if you've got pencils and pens and paper and organic stuff, this will work as well. We start with the pencil tool or with a pencil. So if you have a pencil at home, we're going to start with a pencil. Normally when I draw on paper, I usually just use a lead pencil so that I can do all my sketch lines, and then I move on to a pen. I will be doing the same thing here, where I will start with a pencil, and then I will move on to a pen for the lines. I won't get into color tonight, probably. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure how that will go. But we'll go slowly, and we'll go step by step. So we'll give it a couple minutes quickly here. Sorry, Mario, is that a Bob Ross t-shirt? It is! Look! It's Bob Ross. He says, what does he say? He says, ever make mistakes in life? Let's make them into birds. Yeah. They're birds now. That's what it says. So all of life's problems, just turn them into little birdies or clouds.
Or clouds.
Or phalluses. Whatever's your comfort thing. Vink says draw etchy Bernie Sanders. Yes, we're gonna draw him super kawaii with like blush marks and everything. Clouds of birds. Bird cloud. Alright. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and just start off with the group that we have now. If you're watching this after the fact, I guess you can go ahead and rewind the stream so that you can see from start to finish what we're doing. Let's see here. Cypher's here says, "Wow, nice. I love drawing, but my drawing sucks." Well, if you want to follow along, it'll be very simple. We'll draw along together.
Grab that napkin. Grab that piece of paper. I'm gonna join in too.
Jesse's all right. Well, I'm gonna wait for Jesse. Jesse's gonna grab some sort of thing. I don't know if he's. Are you actually grabbing like tools to draw, or are you grabbing food? No, I don't know with Jesse. I don't know. What is the software? This is Art Rage, which is usually what I do to like do my sketches. I usually use Photoshop for most everything, but usually I'll draw in Art Rage first. Oh, so you're going to draw?
Yeah.
Cool. You have a pen?
I can't find a pencil.
Okay. All right. Well, Jesse's got paper and a pen, so he's good, I guess. Jeffrey says, "Is Floof having snacks?" No, couldn't be. He will eventually. He'll get snacks.
Okay.
He'll get snacks here at some point. All right, you guys. It's 9:30. We're gonna go ahead and get the ball rolling here. Bloody Bones. We're still got people rolling in here. Bloody Bones. He says, "What's up, Saru and crew? Welcome, Bloody Bones."
Bloody Bones.
Thanks for stopping in. Super Boo is here as well. Welcome, Super Boo. Super Boo is one of our super mods, by the way. Him, Jeff Allison, and Randrick, they're all part of that super team of mods. What are we listening to? This is the soundtrack to Fighting Street, actually, which is Street Fighter 1 on the TurboGrafx CD. No, maybe we should listen to a different soundtrack. Maybe like Street Fighter.
Oh.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
What Street Fighter should we listen to? We're listening to Street Fighter because it's kind of a precursor to what we're drawing tonight. Alpha 3 says Jeffrey. Alright. Go to Street Fighter Alpha 3.
This one.
Yep. That'll work. Street Fighter Alpha. Vink says Third Strike. Randrick says 4. Alright, so we'll go down that list.
We'll go down the list.
We'll go down the list. Oh my gosh, Michelle's here. Welcome, Michelle. Everyone's saying hi to Michelle.
Third Strike and 4. Okay.
Alright. Once again, before we get started here, tonight's donation charm pool is for this character here. This is Sakura Shinguji from Sakura Taisen. That's tonight's charm. For those of you who are new, we make charms and we put them in fancy packaging. Basically, the way the donation pool works, normally we had a ticker. Why didn't you put the ticker today? Remember we had that ticker with the information about the charms?
I'm sorry, they meant the sticker. I could
Do we have that?
real quick.
In any case, while he's looking that up, basically what we do is we take donations to make these charms. Normally, this is what would be considered a large charm. And the way it works is if you donate $10, it gets your name on the package. Like these people have their name on this package here. And then for another $10, you get your name on the package as well as the actual charm. Or you could just wait until the charm gets funded. And you can just buy the charm itself for $10 on sarumaru.com. That's www.sarumaru.com. And you can just buy the charms there. There's plenty of charms there now. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. You can get them as keychains. Like, I think these are, yeah, this one's a keychain. You can get them as keychains or actual straps, like ketai straps, cell phone straps. For Madam on Rovers donated $10 already. He says, how charming. Thank you so much for your $10 donation. We are 10% to our goal. Thank you. Much appreciated. Face is here as well. Daisuke Jigen. He says, hey guys, what is up? The Saru hair is astoundingly grand this eve. I know, it's like, I need to cut it. Because like the front's like super long. So it's like, whoosh. The dye is also a little fadey. A little fadey fade. So it's kind of like hot pink now. It's gross. Alright. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know I said that 5 minutes ago, but this time for real. So, usually, when I start to draw, like if I draw a chibi of something, right? I like to start with the head. And I'm going to go very slowly so that you guys can follow along with me. Usually, I like to create somewhat of an egg shape. What I mean by that is that the top is usually going to be more round, and as it comes down, it's going to curve a little more into a point. So we are literally drawing an egg. So we have an egg right here. This is our general shape for our face there. And you can also like clean it up if you think your lines are not matching up. That's not what I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, we got another donation from Michelle. Michelle says, gotta do it for my girl Sakura. That's awesome. That gets her name on the back of the package for Sakura Shinguji, as well as the actual charm itself. Look how cute this link one is. We still have a few of these left. But with all charms, pretty much once they're gone, they're gone. So if there is a charm that you like, make sure you pick it up. Because if it sells out, we're not going to make it anymore. Unless there's like room to actually put more names on the packages, we won't make it again. Just because I don't want to keep putting names on the package when we do these charms. We want to limit it to what can fit on the back of it. Link is so cute! Is there a Sakura charm? Did I hear that right? Yeah, that's what we're doing the donation thing for today. Alright, let's go back to our egg. So here is our egg. Right? It's somewhat of an imperfect egg. Usually because around the, like, we're drawing the chin, right? So the chin curves down this way, and your head is bulbous up on top. So we're doing a curve down on the chin. So that's exactly what we're doing. And see these areas here, right here and right here, this is where the jawline is where I would imagine it would be. So that's where I start to like curve a little more sharply, but not too much. Not too much. I'm going to make it a little bigger so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Alright, are we at this egg point right now? Is everyone at this egg point? It's not exactly a perfect egg, it is a little crooked, but we can fix that later. You can shape it however you want. It doesn't matter. Right now, this is the sketch stage, so it doesn't have to be perfect. As we go over it with our pen lines, we can make it better. So if everyone is at the egg point, we can move forward.
Egg.
Sakura Shinguji is from Sakura Wars, Sakura Taisen. That is correct. Randrick just donated $20. Thank you very much, Randrick. He says, Saru is the Bob Ross of anime drawing. That's awesome. Thank you, Randrick, for that donation. That gets him the charm as well as the name on Sakura Shinguji's package. Jesse snacks are important, yes.
Jesse snacks.
Alright. We're going to move on now. So, eventually we will get to the face. Right now we're just going to focus on the body. Okay? So normally when I draw chibis, I'll draw the head. And then usually the neck is usually a small neck. And it doesn't matter how long you draw it at this point, because we're just going to draw over it. So I'm going to put 2 lines right next to the chin. Not directly next to the chin, thick enough to make it believable that it looks like a small person's neck. Like that. So small. Chicken fried in the egg, says Michelle. I'm sorry, what are you drawing? Kind of missed that. It's gonna end up being Ryu from Street Fighter. That's why we're listening to Street Fighter music. We're gonna end up drawing a chibi Ryu. Only because I thought, one, he's like a super like known character, right? Very basic, and kinda easy, generic features. Nothing that's going to overwhelm anyone trying to draw it. So we're gonna do it step by step, and that's what we're doing. So we started step 1. We started with our egg, right? That's our egg there, step 1. Now step 2, we did our neck. Actually, I'll write it down as we're doing it. head. Head egg. Head/egg. Alright, so we got our 2 lines for our neck. Next, what I like to do with the body, the neck is not going to be so much pronounced since it is a chibi. So think of, for the chest area, we're just going to do like a small trapezoid, right? That's going to be our chest area, the small trapezoid shape. Kind of rounded, not exactly straight lines, because that'll eventually mess with your overall design. So you want to just do like a simple, let me straighten that so that you can see, sorry. We're just going to start with a simple trapezoid shape. And see how our necklines pretty much at this point just disappeared. Not, and don't worry about it being super symmetrical. The more important part that you need to worry about being symmetrical is like the head and the face when you're drawing characters head on, face on, okay? Alright, so 3, we got our chest, right? Or 4, I'm sorry, step... Actually, no, that... Yeah, step 4 is our...
Makoto says, drawing this word live. Nice.
Sorry, that is step 3. Step 3 is our chest.
Super
Step
Bruce
2
says,
was our neck.
who's all drawing with Saru?
When we're done, those of you who are members of the Saru crew will be able to share them in the Patreon only section in Discord. And if you want, I can show them to the rest of the chat at the end if you want or not. But still, I would like if you guys would share. Those of you who are Saru crew, share it in the Saru crew Discord. That would be awesome. And for those of you who want to join the Saru crew Discord, you can by joining on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Alright, so step 2 next. Step 3, our chest, which is the trapezoid shape that we got. Next, I like to draw like the stomach area. And usually what I do here, if it's a chibi, I do like a rectangle shape. If these were normal proportions, this would be a square. But because chibis are usually short and fat, everything's just going to be kind of squished. Except for the head. The head is usually kind of normal proportions, except for exaggerated eyes and things like that. So we got a couple people who are drawing along with us, which is good because that's kind of the point of tonight. Especially those of you who are Saru crew, if you want to draw along and then share it, that's awesome. We'll share it here as well.
Thank you, Boo.
All right. So then we have so step 4. We got our stomach. We're just gonna call this the stomach block. Okay. So step 4 is our stomach block, and that's just kind of a square shape that you want to make. This one, unlike the trapezoid where I made a kind of roundy shapes around each line, I kind of puffed it outward, little roundy, not exactly straight lines. With this one, I just did a straight square, but you can also puff out the lines a little bit, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. Whoa, Jeffrey Pan donated $50. He says, what did he say? He said,
it's for snacks. Love you, boys.
Oh, for snacks. Thank you, Pan. That's
Thank
Jeffrey.
you.
Jeffrey is Pan.
And we just reached our goal.
And we reached our goal, but we will keep it open because donations are always welcome.
Thank you,
very
Jeffrey,
much for that. Yay, Sakura is funded. Yes, so that gets him the charm as well as his name on the package. That was fast. All right, let's move on. But just because the charm is funded doesn't mean you can't donate the $10 to get your name on the package, because that will be open until pretty much the rest of the night. So if you want your name on the back of the package for Sakura, you merely have to donate $10, and then you can buy the charm later, or you can donate $20 and get the charm and your name as soon as it comes in. We'll send it to you. All right. We're going to move to step 5. I'm going to write it over here. Step 5 is going to be we call this? I guess the crotch area. And I'm going to call it the crotch triangle. And you'll see why in a second. Same rule with the crotch area. Now, unlike the square that's kind of... Let's zoom in so you can see. See how the square goes into the trapezoid? Right here with the triangle, with the crotch triangle. We're going to do the same thing with the lines. We're going to do a triangle with puffed out lines. But you could simply just start it off at the bottom like this. So we got these puffed out lines down at the bottom of our square. We don't have to do our third line there. It's already drawn in by our square. And now we have our triangle crotch. The crotchal region, says Brandon 313.
Yes, friends, let us do a donate.
Let us.
Let us.
All right. So now we've got our head, neck, chest, and torso, right, area. So right now he is just, what was it called? What were those creatures called? The oblongs? They were like head and torso. He's one of those now. So now we're going to get into the ball joints. So step 5, we're going to do all the ball joints together. I'm sorry, step 6. So 6. Ball joints. And this one's going to be a little convoluted because we're going to do the ball joints. Oops. And the arms and the legs. So we're going to do 6. So there's going to be 6A ball joints. 6B will be limbs.
So you're drawing balls.
So that one will be in two steps. We're doing ball joints and then limbs. So let's start off with the ball joints. Usually with the ball joints, I like to create little circles at the edges of where the arms would be. So those there are our shoulder ball joints, right? And then we're going to do 2 more ball joints here for the legs. About the same size, slightly bigger maybe. Mine are just slightly bigger. And we don't do them directly inside the triangle, just a little bit outside because like guys and humans have like hips, right? Where the hip and the butt area start. So we're going to be doing that with these ball joints here. So this here is where the hip / butt area would begin, where you can't really see it. And those are all our ball joints. What a time to be alive, says Jeffrey. Dry and reuse balls, what a stream.
Several mini ball
Guys
joints.
and humans have hips right in the butt area. Saru 2021. Like it's a question. Do they? I don't know. Alright, so we got our balls. Next we're going to move to 6B. Step 6B here is going to be our limbs. The reason why it's 6A and 6B because they kind of go together. So we're going to do the arm part. And this is just going to be like small ovals. We got tiny ovals. And you want the oval to be not like a perfect oval, but kind of like an egg. More imperfect eggs. Most of this drawing is going to be a lot of imperfect eggs. About halfway into the circle. So if you can see, let me zoom in real close here. That's our ball joint circle, right? I'm going to highlight it with a light color so that you guys can see. See right here? It's going about halfway into our circle right there. Here's our circle for the joint. So it goes about halfway into the circle. Like that's half of the circle. And then you continue with the rest of your ball. right there. Okay? And that's pretty much the same rule for all these joints when we're drawing these characters head on. About halfway in. See how the crotch triangle here goes about halfway into our circle almost? It's about the same rule here, about halfway in for all of these ball joints.
Hey, Gordo's Gaming's here. He says, hey everyone, first time catching an art class.
This is our first time doing it live. We usually only do like videos, or I just draw and you guys just watch me draw. I'm not like showing you guys how to draw. So this is the first time we're doing like an actual stream. But yes, we got these blue areas. That's just to illustrate that we're going about halfway into our ball joint, okay? Let me draw over them so that you guys don't get confused. So we got our little eggs right here, or ovals, for our limbs. We're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to do another small one right here, and another small one right here. We've got two little egg limbs.
See you later, Vink and Rover.
See ya, Vink and Rover. Have a good night. All right. Now we're going to go back to ball joints again. So these two steps pretty much repeat to the ball joints. After drawing the first set of limbs, go back to ball joints. The reason why is because we're going to draw some more ball joints. These are the elbow joints and the knee joints. I usually make these smaller than normal. Now you don't have to do these if you don't want, but if you're a beginner, it helps with where all of these joints are going to be. And same rule for these smaller ball joints. They go in about halfway. But with these, what I do with these, I go in more than halfway into the adjoining limb. So like the arm limb, that circle is going to go far more in to the arm limb. See how it's more than half in this case? Just so it looks natural. There. I usually go in far more. Same thing with the knee. I usually go in right here, far more into the adjoining limb. I go into more than halfway.
Into the balls.
Into the balls. Alright. Alright, you perverts. We're moving on. So we got our second set of ball joints. We're going to move on to the last remaining limbs. So we're going to do the arms. Now with him, I'm going to kind of put him in like a battle pose. So I'm going to extend his forearm limbs outward. Same thing with the forearms. The forearms are usually about the same length as your arm. When drawing, I usually make these about the same size eggs right there. And then with the legs, because our legs usually curve down, I usually make these a little more pointy. So we start off like a normal egg, but we point down the egg sharper now with this one. So now our egg down in the legs, still an egg, slightly smaller, slightly sharper. All right, so then we're going back. We went back to the limbs. So that's why I put these two steps together. Only because we're doing the same thing in repetition with these limbs right here. Gordo says, I'm not a perv, you're a perv. The third leg is coming up soon. I know it's a blue card. Saru's ball streams. Yes, welcome to ball streams. Today we're learning how to draw balls. Many sizes.
Jeffrey says, oh my god, even the skeleton is adorable.
Sometimes one bigger than the other. Cutest skeleton. Alright. Now, back to balls. Everyone's favorite subject right now. So we're going back to the balls. This time, so going back to balls again. So that's why a lot of back and forth. So back to 6B, more ball joints. These are for the wrists, where the wrists would be. So that usually helps. I don't do this personally. I don't do any of the ball joints, but I still do like the frames. I just don't do the ball joints. I just do all the eggs. But in the beginning, it does help to do the ball joints. We have tiny little ball joints here for the wrists and the ankles. And these are the smallest of the balls. A lot of back and forth with the balls. Yeah, with this step, there's a lot of back and forth with the balls. So now we have our balls where the wrists would be. This makes it easy to position where the wrists are going to start when you're drawing the wrists. Because, say this is our ball joint. These are our bones, right, for the wrist. We're going to just draw out from the ball joints on the wrist. So, let's get in closer if we can, so I can show you guys. So here are the balls, right? The ball joints for the wrist. This one is going to go straight out, kind of following this arm. This is our first line for the wrist. I'm doing it slowly here because this is more complicated of a step. And usually what I do here is, this is also, think of this also as another trapezoid shape here. Right here. So now we're moving into this. We're going to make this step 7 because hands get complicated. So we're going to do, hands are going to be another trapezoid shape like this, but upside down because of how we have it positioned, right? And actually, I'm going to put this trapezoid shape up here for the chest so that we have a visual aid here. So now we have our trapezoids for the hands, right? So usually what I like to do here is I like to draw in the thumb, very basic thumb, and usually with the thumb all I do is this shape right here. So
yes, it would be up Gordo.
So right here the thumb, this is usually what I do is I do like, what do you call this shape? It's not really an oval, it's kind of like a rounded rectangle maybe. That's what I did here for the thumb. And let me highlight it in a color so that you guys can see. That's pretty much going to be our shape for the thumb. And then you want to do the same thing with the fingers. Normally when I'm drawing, I draw more angular, but because we're doing a tutorial, we're going to do all, try to be as symmetrical as we can as possible and front facing, so that it's easier. So now we have all of our fingers, right? We did it in that same exact fashion where we did our little rounded oval, right here, and then we're going to do the same thing right here. Now I normally would have flipped the canvas like a million times by now to do this, but I'm not doing so only because it would be easier for you guys to follow along if I didn't, so that you guys can see it straightforward. So now we have this shape, right? Over and over again. So that you guys can see here. It's that same like sprinkles. It looks like sprinkles. You know how sprinkles are perfectly like round? Think of that as like an ice cream sprinkle. I don't know how else to explain it. So now we have our hands. Balls! JT is here, welcome!
Hey JT.
He says, I'm a bit late to the stream. What balls are y'all talking about? Sprinkle-covered balls. Alright. So now we have our hands, our thumbs. And then our fingers are pretty much going to be the same thing. So we're going to just say, and fingers, so that we have some reference. Alright, so now with the feet, we're going to go back to the trapezoids. So step 8.
What if we think of you as an ice cream sprinkle? Sprinkle.
Sprinkle. Sprinkle. Wacom tablet or pen share to screen. No, this is just it's a Microsoft Surface Pro 4. It is old. I'm gonna have to just wait and watch again later with this Wacom Intuos pen tablet. I gotta hook it up to a computer to use it, and it's difficult going back and forth between this art and the program. Oh man, well I will leave it up. It will be left up so that you guys can follow along.
Well, Garces, I feel like Sarah's a sex ed teacher right now, and good one at that, since we're making jokes the whole time.
Alright, so here's our general shape. Let's leave that there for a second for anyone who might still be trying to catch up. And if you guys have questions too, feel free to ask them. We're going to be doing these about once a month for one of the Saru shows. So we talked about last year how we were going to split up Saru show. How we were going to do a drawing with Saru, a VGST segment, video game show and tell, where I just chat and show off stuff in my collection and we talk about it. Then we're going to do a like a cooking type thing, or a snack type thing, where we will eat snacks or cooking stuff, and then whatever our topic is. All of these always have like our normal weekly topic, right? It's just a different thing that we do. And then the fourth one is going to be drawing with Saru, which you guys will sit here and watch me draw game art or charm art, usually. Neil, this program is Art Rage. Alright, I'm going to assume that everybody is caught up. We're going to get through the rest of our skeleton here. We're at step 8 feet. We're going to go with trapezoids again. So we're just going to flare out in the direction that we want. And it's all pretty much a flow, right? Like we have a flow of the arms. They're flowing out. Everything kind of just flares out. The feet flare out as well. We're doing the same thing with the feet down at the bottom. We're doing our trapezoid shape again with a bit of a flare out. And because it's got a flare out, the lines are not exactly straight. So if you can see, my trapezoid shape is kind of not crooked, right? Or kind of not straight. It's a bit crooked because I have it flaring out with the leg. Oh, here. So now you can see that trapezoid there. It's kind of flaring out. So now with the feet, the next thing we're going to go into are the toes. And you'll notice that a lot of these shapes that we're using are all repetition. That's important because it's easy to keep track of all of your different shapes if they're all similar, right? So with the toes, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw that similar like sprinkle shape, but kind of more rounded, more fat, right? Starting with the biggest toe, and then as you get to the smaller toes, it'll be the same thing, just smaller. Or you can just do like egg shapes as well, if that helps, if that's easier. That might be better actually. Let's go with egg shapes with the toes. Small eggs. I just don't want people drawing like huge gigantic toes, but it might actually fit with what we're drawing today anyway. So we're going to start with the big toe.
Corvus, a serious question. With so many shapes, isn't that kind of hard to tell what limbs' final shapes will be with everything so close together?
So eventually you'll get used to where all the limbs are going. That's why I'm breaking these out in steps. You see how I'm doing these with different steps? That's why we're doing it that way. And normally when you're doing your sketch, you're not doing it probably not as dark as this, though I guess you can, it doesn't really matter. We're still in the sketching stage of it. So like I said in the beginning of the stream, the way the flow works is we will be drawing with a pencil first. This is the pencil tool that we're using. This applies to paper. That's why we have this shape. We're going to ignore the skeleton once we get into our actual lines. And normally when you're doing like the skeleton, you kind of want to sketch lightly. You don't want to do it hard. These are not your permanent lines. So if you didn't catch that in the beginning, I'm reiterating it right now. This is just the sketch portion of it before we get into the actual lines. So these are where you would just be lightly sketching all of your shapes. You don't have to go as hard as I am here. I'm doing it for the sake of you guys being able to see what I'm doing. Otherwise, you won't be able to see these shapes. But normally what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sketch your skeleton out lightly. So right now we're sketching out our skeleton. We're doing it with really light lines. In our heads, I'm not doing it with light lines, but we will make it lighter so that we can see. And then you guys can kind of see an example soon once we get to that step. So now we have our eggs, right? Our toe eggs. And I say eggs because they're not exactly perfect circles. We're going to start with that one. And then the eggs, we're just going to put them, we're going to overlap them together. I'll show you here with a different color so that we can see. But the farther we get down our line of eggs, the smaller they're going to get. So they're going to get smaller as we move along. We're going to do the same thing with this one. We got the one big toe. And then gradually they just get a little smaller with each toe. We're going to go back over it with the blue line just so you can see here. So here's our toe or our egg. Our next egg sort of overlaps, and that's okay because toes overlap in real life. Alright. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our next step. And this is where it gets a little harder for some people, because here's where symmetry really plays an issue with people with eyes and stuff like that. So we're going to call this step the face guide. Now, and all the face guide really does is it helps you keep track of where everything should go. So with the face guide, we're just going to draw a line straight down the middle of the face. And then we're going to draw two lines where eyes will go in between. Now this is a bit harder, and it's kind of something that you're eventually going to get used to the more you do it. This isn't, you're not going to be great like right off the bat. You're going to have to draw and draw and draw and draw until it looks right. But at least this is your drawing foundation, right? So now the eyes, normally in like human eyes, we have like our eyes around here, right? So we have our ears. What I like to do to help line up the eyes is place where my ears are going to be. Usually with chibis, what I'll do is I'll draw like two half circles, right? For the ears. We have our two little like half circles here for the ears. Usually the way I position them is somewhere close to the middle of where everything is going to go. But usually closer to the jawline. So like here's our jawline, right? So you usually want to leave like a little space between the jawline. In this case, our jawline is right about here, right? For it. So we'll just put jawline. And actually I might want to lower these a little bit here. But usually I like to do like two little half circles here. Oops. For our ears. Or half eggs actually, because usually the way ears curve is they curve downwards. So if you want to just imagine this as half an egg, rounder at the top and curving in as it goes down, kind of like we did earlier with the chin, you can do that. You can curve it in.
Just save it.
Why?
In case it crashes. No? Okay.
Alright. So now, we're going to do the rest of our face, guys. So we have our ears. We have this down the middle because that's going to help us position where we're going to put our nose or where we're going to put our mouth and how far apart we're going to put our eyes, right? So then we're going to do these lines right around the ear area. Not exactly perfectly in the ear area, but right around it. And I realize my line is like super crooked here. The straighter this line is, the better, because it helps you position where you're going to be drawing. You put your ears. And then like, that's the general shape, right, that I do for the ears. Alright. So usually, I start off with the nose before I get into the eyes. Lots of people go into the eyes. I like to just go into the nose. And usually I'll place the nose right under our two guidelines. So I'll make it in blue so that you can see. So here's where our nose is going to go. And usually with anime, you can do the nose a number of different ways. For now, to make it easy, we're just going to do like a half circle, right? Like a dark half circle. And that's where we're going to position it, right where the bottom guideline and the center guideline meet. Is where we're going to draw our nose. And we're doing just half, and I'll show you why later. Right, so we have just half of our nose. Now, we're gonna get into our guidelines, or I'm sorry, our eye lines here. So depending on how big you want your character's eyes, right? Like in this case, like I'll show you an example. Like say I was drawing a cutesy character with big eyes. This is what I would use to position where the eyes would start. With Ryu, his eyes aren't so big and cutesy, so we're going to narrow our eye line just a bit more for Ryu, because he's going to have smaller lines. So we're going to do this second line here. This is going to be we're going to call this, oops, that wasn't right, top of eye. And then this one is the bottom of the eye, right here. Just so that you guys can have a guide going along. Alright, so now, eyes are tricky. So with Ryu, what we're going to do, actually, I'm sorry, let me start with our shape. We're going to do like a general egg shape. Again, lots of eggs. And we're going to do the same thing for the left side. And here's where our guides kind of come in handy, because then you know how far apart to space everything. Usually, you don't want to put them too close. He looks like an alien now, or Ultraman, right? He can totally be Ultraman now, look. Alright, we're done. We drew Ultraman. That concludes our tutorial. I'm just kidding. So, we have more eggs for the eyes.
Watch people are not listening to you just drawing. They draw that.
Oh, I know. guides, and then
Super Boost says, I actually own a couple of how to draw manga books, so this stuff looks familiar for me. But there aren't any chibi in those books, and hearing someone tell you step by step is more understandable. Says Super Boost.
that's awesome. That's kind of the whole point of doing it this way, so that people can follow along more easily. So if you miss steps in the beginning, then you can just go back. I'm leaving this video up. Happy GB Drawing Saturday. Hi everyone, what is up? Ando Gamer,
Hey,
welcome.
Ando Gamer.
Can I have a Pepsi? Do you have any Pepsis?
You want a pet?
A Pepsi, please. Oh wait, I have tea somewhere. Actually, give me a Pepsi. I can use the caffeine. Thank you. Alright, so now, this other line here, this line, we're going to use this as our brow line. Where we're going to put our brow in between. Alright, and the mouth can be however, since we're drawing Ryu, he doesn't normally smile a whole lot. He's very stoic. And that shape
Ryu the Burninator's here. He says, oh man, I want that Sakura charm.
welcome, Ryu the Burninator. You'll be able to get that Sakura charm in a couple of weeks on sarumaru.com when we get it made. About 2 to 3 weeks.
You can still donate now, Jeffrey says.
That's true, you can. To get your name. Basically, the way the donation works is if you want your name on the actual charm, that's what the donations are for. To get your name on the charm and to have the charm made. Obviously, I use this to make the actual charm. Alright. So this was generally our mouth shape right here, right? Think of it as our trapezoid again, minus the bottom line right here. Alright. So our skeleton is complete. Now we can start drawing in the other details. Now, I drew these in really hard, like I was explaining earlier, because so that you guys can see it. But if we were drawing with pencil on paper, these lines would be light. We don't want to like etch it in there because it's going to be hard to erase, right? So I'm going to cut this out here. So now I'm going to make this lighter here, but normally if I was drawing this on paper, this skeleton would be very light. Actually, I'm not going to make it lighter just yet. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and draw our details. So step 10. Is going to be details. Face, body. So now we'll be able to go in and do our lines. So usually what I do here is start to accent the lines. Like I usually do the top eyelid. This is going to be the top eyelid, right? I usually do them darker. Now to split up the eyelids, all I do is erase between the circles right here. I am on the wrong. So we're erasing a small area right here. See where my pencil is at? Let me highlight it so you guys can see actually. So this area here. we're going to erase that area. And we're also going to do the same thing in this area. Okay. So we're going to erase. You can't even see what it says there. We're going to erase in these two areas. Right where that line is there, I'm erasing. I'm doing the same thing down here. Okay? So I erase those two areas here. I'm moving that so that you guys can see where I erased. Now we're going to draw the actual eye. Now that we have our eyelashes, our bottom lash, our top lash, the actual eye, we're going to go again with an egg shape. Somewhat imperfect egg. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to erase the same exact spots. Right here, closer to the bottom, and then right here, closer to the middle. But eyes are completely your preference, how you want to draw them. Depending on the character, it's not the same for everybody. And we're going to do the same thing over here with the other eye. Since we're just drawing head on, we're trying to be as symmetrical as we can as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, just close enough. So now we have our two eyes. Alright. So now, usually the way I draw eyes, like cutesy anime eyes, is I pick a side where the shine is going to come from. In this case, I'm going to pick the left side. This is where our eye shine is going to be. This can be an egg shape, it could be a perfect circle, it could be whatever you really want, as long as they're about the same size for each of the eyes. And we're going to do the same thing for the pupil. In the middle, we're going to do another egg shape right here. We are overlapping our shine part, but that's okay. You could always go in and erase that later yourself. Or you can do it in your sketch phase like I'm doing right now, so that we can see my shine, right? So now we have that line behind of our shine because I just used the eraser to erase it. You could do the same thing if you're drawing organically or digitally. And then we're going to fill in the pupil. And I'm not going to be laying out the steps anymore because the final step is just going to be the lines. At this point, we're just doing our details. Alright, so now we're going to draw into our brow line. That's this section right here. This box right here. Oops. This here is where our brow line is, right? This whole box right here. That's where our eyebrows are going to go. And I'll leave that highlighted just so that you guys can see. And so with Ryu, he's going to be kind of angry, right? So the way we're going to do eyebrows, we're going to keep it simple for the eyebrows. Normally these shapes would be a lot more angular, but just to keep things simple, we're going to do it this way. We're going to draw a curved line, and since Ryu is always kind of like mad, we're going to do this within our brow line. And because he's mad, that is coming out of our brow line. But if you left it in, say you wanted to draw him more neutral, you can leave it within the brow line. That's fine. We're going to be going out of the brow line. It's really just there as a guide for us. But we're going out of it because we're drawing like more bushy man eyebrows, right? And we can accentuate this more as we go in, depending on the style that you want to do. Because you could always add more details during your line phase as well. Now, going on with the rest of the details, the ears, normally I'll draw in a line in here. So at first it kind of looks like he has monkey ears. And then another line in here. These are to represent the folds inside our ears, right? So then what I'll do in here is I'll just erase right here, somewhere around where our middle circle is. Right there. And now we have our ear lines. He's not always mad. He just tries to look intimidating while fighting. Anyway, so we're going to now move on to hair. Now Ryu's got a bandana. Usually what I'll do is where the bandana will start, I usually like to start it somewhere around where the ears are. And since the head is round, instead of drawing it a completely straight line, we're drawing it as it's contouring to the head. So you're going to draw a contoured line going over all of his other facial details right there. And then we're just going to repeat the same thing right above it. So now we have two contoured lines following each other with the flow of the first line. And now here is where you kind of get to like freehand some stuff, right? So I'm going to start with the hair. There's no specific steps on how to do it. We're just going to go kind of with the flow of how I want his hair to look generally, right? So he's kind of got like... Oh, you can probably switch soundtrack. What was the next one that they wanted? It was first Street Fighter?
Yes, Third Strike.
Third Strike, okay. So Ryu's kind of just got like this like generic kind of like spiky hair, and we're just gonna repeat these spikes like over and over. Let's move stuff text here out of the way. And we're just going to repeat these same like spikes. They don't, you can wave them around a bit so it looks a little more natural. Usually the way I do it if I'm drawing Ryu is I keep it kind of flowing in one direction. Like I'm doing now. It all kind of flows to the left in this example. So I'm going to do the same thing. So like the hair is kind of like flowing like this way, right? In a circle kind of. Like this. And then here it's just coming straight off this way. It's kind of flowing in this direction, right? And we're just going to do the same thing We're just gonna repeat. And you can get in and do like a little flow with the hair, little curves, straight line with a curve too. Like say I wanted to go straight and then curve down. Same thing over here, straight line, curve down. Kind of gives it a more natural curve. Now, he kind of looks like a freakish alien right now, but once we start getting more into the other details, he won't look so freakish. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and draw his gi. Usually the way I do it to make it easy is I just do a V shape here. And then the gi kind of keeps going here because it folds. A gi folds over, right? Like you've got like your gi open and one side folds over. So we're doing that with this line right here. This line here is folding over. We already have our waistlines here. This is where we would just draw our belt. We don't have to guess to where it's at because it's already there. Let me do it here with the blue line so you can see. The guesswork is pretty much gone because we already have those lines there. So you can just go over those lines. They've already been drawn there earlier for us, so we don't really have to do anything. With the belt, usually just a circle there. And we'll get into the actual belt design. For now, we're just a really generic design. Our gi, we got a fold over. Usually I like to leave a little room here between the neck and the gi. Right here, this little corner here, so that we can go in there and draw details. And then we've got our gi details, just a second line here at the same length as the first line, and then just connect it up here. Just connect it up here. Ryu has like a busted gi, so we're going to do the same thing we did with the hair. Straight line curve, straight line curve, just like we're drawing. Just like we're drawing his hair, right? Straight line curve, straight line curve, straight line curve, straight line curve. Just a few times, maybe a fifth one there just for a little one, just for added measure. And then what I do here with the gi is I just flare it out to the belt here. See, here's our belt. Let me do it with the color so that you can see. So here's where I did straight line flare out, straight line flare out, straight line flare out, straight line flare out, straight line flare out. And I get smaller as I go down. You don't have to. You can keep them around the same size. And then here's where the last flare out is. I just connect the gi down like this. It doesn't have to be in a perfect circle. If you understand like art theories, like how folds and stuff work, you can work that into that. But obviously, if you don't, that's probably why you're watching. So we're going to now draw the legs. Let's go back to our dark colors. That's there just so that you guys can see. Now our pant legs. With pant legs, it's pretty easy. You can do like some curves. I usually like to go over all of these. All of these joints right here. Just on the outside, because obviously he's not wearing like skin tight pants, right? He's wearing kind of loose fitting pants. So I'll go over on the outside right here. In the crotch, I'll just draw in a solid line so I kind of know what's going on here. Same thing with the bottom of the legs. Just flare out a little bit with the pants, loose fitting pants. And since like his gi is always like in disarray, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna kind of like give the bottom of the gi some teeth, kind of to give that indication that it's been like kind of like torn or whatever. So now we're getting some shape going on with everything. All right, now the toes. And the feet, here's where you can draw in your details. Since you have your guidelines, now you can draw them in. Usually when I go into these details, if I'm drawing with a pencil, I start to go in a little darker so that I can see when I do the ink. And then with the toes, I just do the same thing. I do little eggs with the toes. Notice how I'm only doing like the outside curve of the toes. I'm not drawing the toes all the way. Then we've got our eggs for our toes. We got toe eggs. And now, all that's left for our details are the arms. And the arms, since the musculature is kind of already drawn in, we don't really have to go in and do too many details other than like how your thumbs will curve. Usually I do like 2 little lines here. I'll do it in blue so that you guys can see. Right? Like that. So you can see, and usually here, I do a half circle here where your palm is at. This is the line here where your thumb goes down, your palm curves in. That's what this line is right here.
Corbin says, quick note, Sarumaru, gi is reversed. It should be left over right. Thank you. That's Corbin.
Anyway, let's correct this so that we don't want to upset any purists. So let's quickly rectify the error of our ways. There we go. Now we are correct. And I almost rolled my eyes so hard that I almost passed out, but let's continue. Let me do the same thing on this side here.
Jeffrey says a lot of Jeff and Jeff representation up in here on this day.
Yeah, because we have Jeffrey, we have Jeff O. I think we have Jeff Allison. Do we have another Jeff?
No.
All of the Jeffs. All right. Thank God we had Corbin here to correct us. Right? Oh my God. What would we have done, you guys? All right. So my left arm looks bigger than the right arm. I think because my blue lines are accentuating the hand. But you guys can kind of see how that's going with this. And actually, I'm kind of unhappy with the hair. And you can always, since this is the sketch phase, you can always go in and just do it however you want. I'm going to add some more hair here. And it doesn't really matter. I don't have to go in and erase it because I'm not at my pen lines yet. So I can always go in. I could always go in and just draw over these lines already.
PC Engine Girl is still here. Says Rising still awake. Looks good.
Nice. Sorry for having correct information, says Corbin. No, that's fine. I'm sure being a know-it-all gets you lots of friends. Alright. So basically, I just flared out all of the hair just a bit more, just to kind of give it that more wild look. And then I'm gonna draw on some sideburns as well. Just to have some sideburns in there. His eyebrows are kind of crazy though, so I am going to go in there and just erase a little bit in here because they're kind of scary. So you can, as you're looking at it, right? You're looking, you're like, this is kind of weird. So that's what I'm doing at this phase right now. Oh, I joined Corbin's Discord, and it's like 95% Saru crew. I think it was like one person there who wasn't. He sent me like 72 invitations, so I was like, you know what, I'll just join. Alright, now I'm actually erasing these lines just so that you guys can see the progression.
Jeffrey says, I'm too hungry. I may have to escape for foods.
Oh god, I know, I'm hungry.
That sounds good. Food.
Food sounds good.
Food sounds good.
So I'm going in here and erasing everything. My other excess lines.
Neil says, artistic license is what I tell folks. Says Neil. Jeffrey says, I'll cook for you boys. Be right over.
Just with you, Corbin.
Jeffrey.
Most people don't come in here and try to tell me how to run my stream, so I'm cool with everybody else. All right, so now he kind of looks less like an alien. All right, so at this point, or actually, sorry, not yet. We're gonna draw in some chest lines in here, and then his neck lines, and then we already have a center line, so that's automatically going to be our chest line there. Now, if it helps you see better, you can start erasing these excess lines here. And now we can see a bit more. See, we got all of our skeleton lines, we're erasing them all. So now we can actually see what's happening. And now it's starting to take shape, because we're erasing all of our inside skeleton lines. So we're gonna just do that. There we go. So we pretty much removed all of our skeleton lines here so that we can see our center line. We're moving that as well. Our guidelines. All right. So now we actually have some sort of shape. And now I'm seeing that I kind of don't like how the feet look. So at this point, before you would go in to do like the ink stuff, this is where you would like fix stuff. So if we wanted to fix the feet, we can. But actually, no. I'm not going to do it now because for the sake of the tutorial, that's going to throw you guys off. So we're not. But we can actually go in and fix those corrections when we do our line work, which we'll go ahead and just do that. That's another opportunity for us to fix our lines. All right, so now I need to make my lines smaller. I don't normally draw in like these lower resolutions, so I gotta make my like lines really small.
Should you save it just in case? I think just save it just in case.
I will.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So now for reals, you put it on blast first, but it's cool, Corbin. I will have me and you we will talk about this for sure. Trust me. All right. So now we're gonna go over it with our line layer. And I'm just going to start with the hair. I know, it's super drama. Alright. Now we can go over these lines. And I'm pretty much just going to go over them as I see them. But also, as I see like things that I want to correct, this will be the opportunity for me to do so. Since now I have a guide to do it. I can. Those are our sideburns. So now we can actually go in and shape stuff. See, like right here I have the eyebrows. I'm shaping the eyebrows. I'm giving them like an extra line, like it's like bushy. But I could also work on the actual eye shape. Usually I don't make them so round, but since we have our guide there, we can easily see how we want to shape the eye. Notice how my lines are more sharp, more straight this time around.
I don't get it. Eyebrows are thick.
I know. I always like to draw like thick, bushy eyebrows.
I know. I like them. I like it.
So now our lines are more angular, more straight, because I want to narrow them a bit more. But since I have the guide right below, I can see what they look like below and also see how I want to change them. And the shape is generally the same. I'm still going over the lines. And I'm making subtle changes with the lines for how I want it to look instead. When I get to the feet, so this is the shape I illustrated earlier, right? For the mouth. Normally I like to put like a little line right here to accentuate that he's got lips. And these are your details. You can be free with the details at this point and make it your own. The purpose of the guide is to learn how to draw the base, like, actual figure, not to draw history or whatever. We're just learning how to actually draw like an actual figure. And normally, I like to add another second line up here for the eyelid fold. I like to add like an eyelid fold right here. I also like to do like cheek lines. I do like these cheek lines to kind of make it look like the cheeks are a little rough, not exactly whatchamacallit, smooth. At this point, I'm just going over my lines. With the ears, we can give them a little more shape. At this point, I'm just going over my lines. Now these little lines in the back here, this is just to show that the gi is folding around the neck. So I like to add those lines right there. And we got our flare lines.
Gamer says, those are the details. Everything's coming out together. Nick says, very cute drawing so far, Saru.
Thank you. I did forget the belt, though. So with the belt, we're just going to do simple belt. Since we can see where our legs are, we don't have to worry about obstructing our view for the rest of the drawing, because we have our handy-dandy guide to keep us honest. Alright, so now just going to trace these lines that I have left over. And I'm also going to take the opportunity to make these lines bigger. And since this hand was already smaller, I'm going to take the opportunity to make it slightly bigger now. And actually, Ryu normally has gloves. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to draw like just like the cuffs themselves. Because he's got like these gloves that have like a thing, but we can't see the top of the hand. So we're not going to draw that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the feet, because I feel like the feet are too small for a Street Fighter character. Normally Street Fighter characters have like much larger feet, right? So I'm going to take the opportunity now in the inking phase to do that and make it bigger. And then I'm going to add things like folds, because clothes have like wrinkles and stuff. Normally you want to have it flow in whatever direction you chose to have it flow. I'm just drawing random flow lines. And feet are going to be much bigger, but still follow the general shape. But I kind of remember that in Street Fighter, they don't have little feet. They have big feet. So alright. I'm just going to add some more like clothes, like foldy lines. And then Ryu has a bandana. We don't see where the knot of the bandana is, so we're just going to draw like a simple line about the same size and have it flare out as it goes. No folds, nothing crazy, because we're not doing anything. Because normally I would draw like the ribbon like being all crazy. We're not going to do that. We're just going to draw it very simple. Alright. And we have our completed line art. Huffman is here. Welcome, Huffman.
What's up, Huffman? Woke up just in time.
Alright. So, there we are. That is our Ryu from start to finish with our guide. Normally I wouldn't draw my chibis like that. Usually my chibis are shorter and fatter. But the reason why this one had to look like this is so that I can illustrate where all of the ball joints are. But as you get better at drawing...
You want to show me?
As you get better at drawing... It's okay. As you get better at drawing like chibis, you can make them smaller and fatter. My chibis are usually more compacted than this one is. But I still think it came out okay. Actually, let me draw in the black of the eyes here, so it doesn't look so weird. There we go. Okay, now it's done. Now it is complete. There he is.
Says, looks great, Sarumaru.
Thank you.
I should post it on Patreon. Let's see.
Oh yeah, post it on Patreon. All right. And for those of you who are Saru crew, if you did follow along, or if you're still doing them, post them in the Patreon only section in the Discord, so that we can see. And if anyone wants to share what they've drawn, let me know, and I'll share it here so that people can see. We can show it if you guys want to share it. Jesse is about to share what he did.
With the pen.
With a pen. He didn't have a pencil, so he didn't have the chance to erase and stuff. So he's going to go ahead and take a picture and post it in our Discord.
It's horrible.
It's okay. Bloodybone says, Saru, I just want to say I love the drawing segment. I appreciate this greatly. It's an inspiration for me to use in my drawing. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm glad you like that. And hopefully people got some use out of something like this. And I'll continue to do them. It depends what type of feedback I get on tonight's live. Because this is our very first one where we did like a guide and we follow along live together. Next time we can go into something else. Like maybe we can go into drawing faces like actual like normal like anime faces instead of like a chibi one, or we can go into color, or how to draw like anime hands and feet. I know that's something that people have issues with as well. So Jesse makes me feel like a professional artist. Did you post it on the Discord?
I did.
Let me see. Oh, you're posting it step by step too? That's funny. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I think that would have been better if you had like
if I had a pencil, yeah,
and eraser, because you went
at the end. Cause I was like, okay.
Brandon through and says, "I like his ball joints." Oh, that's funny. I couldn't wake up at a better time since I was drawing. He just came in to see your drawing. That's funny. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now as far as color goes, like, I mean, he's wearing white, but normally what I like to do, like, say if I'm coloring, I would go with like an off-white color. I don't really want to get into like a coloring tutorial right now, but I would just draw inside the lines. Like, this is the marker tool, and I like drawing this or coloring this way if I'm showing someone, just because that's how they would draw if they're drawing like with a marker. And I use markers when I draw my organic stuff. Can you hand me that Jenny picture behind you? Yeah. When I draw organic, I usually use pencil, ink, and then marker. So this one is a picture of my very own Jenny from FX Unit Yuki. And I drew this by hand with pencil, and then I went over it with ink, and I colored it with markers. I use Bianyo markers, which is like the cheaper version of Copic markers. I can't afford Copic markers. So that's how I would color if I'm coloring with markers. And Art Rage really simulates like how it would work with markers, right? So like, I'm using the marker tool right now to color this gi that is thankfully now correct.
Do we have any snacks?
Are there any more of those Enemans? You didn't have those.
Oh, you're right.
You didn't have a kick. I guess we can do a quick simple color. We'll do quick simple color.
Last one.
Since we're already here. We'll do some quick simple coloring. Alright, so we made his gi like an off-white color. I think actually this whole gi is this color. Pretty sure. I don't know why I left those parts uncolored. Alright. And then we got some red. We will color in his glove cuffs or whatever these are.
Holy.
Is that Brandon?
Brandon Cruz.
I knew it! That's awesome.
Wow.
Here, let's show people. Do you guys want to see Brandon Cruz's take on it? It's pretty fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's amaz. Here we go. That is Brandon Cruz, who is in the chat right now. This was his rendition of it, which is freaking dope.
That's amazing.
I even said when we were talking about this, I even said something along the lines where I can't wait to see some of the artists in the Saru Cruise renditions of what we do today. And that's definitely... Oh, are you okay?
Are
you choking?
I'm choking.
Do you want to check with Corbin before you color the key? I know where you're choking now.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Oh.
Come on, Tashi. Come on.
Man, Brandon,
Yeah,
that's
that's
awesome.
man.
Holy shit.
That's really good.
No chicken allowed.
Yeah, that's really good.
Elvis says, Jesse, can you elaborate on drawing what happened to your legs? I don't know. That's awesome, Brandon Cruz.
Yeah, he looks amazing. Amazing! Is it still third strike?
Huh?
It is. I'm stupid. Amazing. So right now I'm just doing simple color with the marker tool. Just trying to simulate how I would color if I was coloring this by hand. This is how I would be doing it. But normally I would just color the outlines and then use the paint bucket tool and just blop it in, and then just use the airbrush tool for my details. But because I'm trying to draw something that you can also translate to paper, if you were doing this with paper, that's why I'm coloring in this fashion with the marker tool. And actually,
Anyone else draw? Post it.
yeah, if anyone else in the Saru crew drew it,
We're not gonna
drew
laugh.
along.
We're just laughing at mine because I wasn't really like paying attention.
Yeah, because you were looking at chat.
I was looking at
too.
chat, so we won't laugh or anything. Just mine is just funny.
Yeah, yours is funny.
That was just a comedy thing I did.
Art! Screw the net, welcome! Oh, Alucard's doing one. He's an artist too.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious to see what his looks like as well. I think he was here almost from the beginning, right?
Yeah. A Hubman says, I'm too drunk to draw, lol. Do it, A Hubman. I mean, look at mine.
Oh, I was wrong. $10. He says, Jesse, now I want to see your Ken Masters.
I'll do it right now. Bam, 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 bam.
You're not even trying, Jesse. Let's see what you're doing.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Oops, wrong tool. Damn it. Damn it! Normally I would use the airbrush tool though. It's faster for this.
There.
I just cheated. I just used the paint bucket tool.
That's cheating.
I'm cheating right now. I was trying to show you guys, but it's taking too long. That's the beauty of digital. So you can just do things. You can do things quickly. You can do all things. The things you want to do.
I sent it to you. I was raw. Oh, you got it. That's not a jellyfish.
Gizmo's
I know.
response. That's funny.
Cerebro85 says, "Were you gonna become a charm?"
Nah. This is just for fun. For you guys.
Nick says, "This is cute."
Yeah, this is just for illustrative purposes. Just to show you guys. I would have to put a lot. If I was gonna make Ryu into a charm, I would just start over and do it like how I would want to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is just to illustrate how I draw, how I do things. So I don't plan to do anything with this art. It's just for you guys. Because like I said, I also draw my chibis like super chibi, not so elongated like this one. But the reason this one had to be a little elongated is so that I had enough room to show you guys all of the ball joints.
Shell's here.
Oh my gosh, Shell, welcome! He kind of looks weird, like a one of those like little Funko keychain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Those little rubber ones that look all weird. Totally looks like. He looks all weird.
Because it says next time we can learn. Can we learn how to draw Chung Li without any ropes?
Demonetized.
I was Roses. I would love to see Akuma.
But he's ugly. I can only draw the pretty characters. Dance with the devil.
Anu Gamer says Ryu has healthy shiny hair.
He uses that Pantene. He's all about that Pantene life.
Shao says, so sorry, how do you approach shadows and lighting in your drawings? Do you have special... Go ahead.
Yeah, so usually I'll pick a direction. In this case, the direction is kind of like over here. Let me just illustrate it. So like, oh shit, hold on. Let me show. So like, this is kind of like where my, why can't I draw this stupid layer? What's going on? Why can't I? There we go. Okay, so say like, my light is like coming from this direction, kinda, right? That's why like the shine of his eyes is like over here, kind of, a little to the left. And also, I haven't gotten to that yet, but since the shine is coming from, oops, shit. Since the shine is coming from up above, let me remove that. We have more shading on kind of like this side here, since that's where light's coming from. And then this is like bottom shading. So then like all the light parts will be on the left side more than they would be on the right side. So like on this arm I would probably just color most of the arm dark. Same thing with our light is kind of coming from the top left in this instance.
Okay, it says next week we draw a Titanic Jessie picture with the bag of snacks. Then Saru can sell it for plops of money. Nerd Strategies is here. Hey, Nerd Strategy.
What's a Nerd Strategy? Welcome. Damn it. some shadowings. But yeah, this is just a simple illustration for the most part. Just really to illustrate. For those of you who are coming in, this is just really to illustrate how I go about drawing like a chibi character from start to finish. And this was pretty much the end result of it.
Shell says, interesting. How do you approach elements such as perspective and proportion then? Any tips?
So that would depend. That's kind of like, were you here earlier when I was showing the guides? I was doing like the guides. It would be just like that. I would just do them in different directions depending on which side I had the character facing. But yeah, usually I'll go by whatever guide I make for that character. But yeah, if you have a minute, take a look at the beginning of the stream, because I cover all of the very basic stuff.
No, just cut off work. Missed that part. You have like drawing dolls for poses and stuff. We'll definitely check that out when you guys are done streaming.
I don't. I just do like the ball guides when I draw stuff. Oops. I keep picking the wrong tool.
The whole stream is very helpful, says Super Boo.
Thank you, Boo. I appreciate that.
Shell says, balls guide. Right, Saru. That is not appropriate here. Jeez, balls.
Oh my god. You should have been here earlier. Everything was about balls. We were like, balls. We were talking about the ball guys, right? So we were like, balls. Oops. Also, balls.
Bushnariga says, good evening, good morning, Saru. So, are you self-taught, or did someone at Capcom teach you to draw?
No, I
Nice,
don't.
GB.
I never did. I never went to school or anything. I just drew.
Mackenzie says, sorry, you should have never rewinded a live stream while your live stream is going on. It could cause a wormhole. I got sucked in it once. I was away from my family for a year, despite my mom saying it was only 5 minutes. Says Mackenzie. Shell says, do you show your balls for reference then? Strange.
Oh, the balls. 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 Blam. All right, he's pretty much done. I'm not going to do anything else with this. I'm like putting real effort into something that was supposed to be a simple thing. But there we go. From start to finish. If you rewind, or if you go back to the beginning of the stream, I'm going to leave the stream up for posterity so that people can go back and see how you go about drawing from start to finish. Not the best color job in the world, but just something quick and simple, just so that we can have it from the very sketch all the way down to the colors. But anyway, guys, I think today's drawing stream went okay, other than a couple weird instances. I apologize for that. The drawing looks cool, says Jojo. Thank you, Jojo, and welcome to the stream if you're new. I'm not familiar.
Bloody Bones says, good night, crew. I had a blast. Love the information, inspiration. Love you guys.
Good night, Bloody Bones. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it.
It's time to... No, we're still going to do the question of the...
Yeah, we're still going to do the question of the week. We're just going to leave this guy up here.
Save it? Or not yet?
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't even... It's just
a drawing?
Just for the video.
Oh, okay.
It's not... I don't want to keep
Gotcha.
drawing. It was just for the sake of showing people. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the question of the week. Do we have that up? What? You're drawing?
No.
Just
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Okay. The question of the week. Here it isn't.
All right. So, last Saru show. I don't remember. Was it last week? Last Saru show, we asked you guys, would you rather have loads of time to play games but only be able to buy 2 games a year, or be able to buy loads of games but never have much time to play them? That is, to record, our longest question ever. Number 1 comes to us from Randrick. Randrick says, that's a tough one. You know, back in the days, games were getting released far less frequently than now. I could have maybe 2 or 3 games a year that I was really interested in. So I have almost tempted to say 2 games a year, but I have a lot of time to play them. But only 2 games a year, I would be bored after a while, I think. But if I have other games I can go back to, I guess, it would be okay. So I'd say 2 games a year is plenty of time to play them, says Randrick. Very cool. See, it used to be like back in the day when you were a kid, like I was a poor kid, so you only got like 1 game so often, right? Or whatever. So back then, I feel like as a kid, I completed more games than I do now as an adult. Because now, like, more games come out, and I want to start a new game of something else, but I haven't finished the other game because I don't have enough time because we're all adults. Anyway, number 2. Number 2 comes to us from Rekka Renz. Rekka Renz says, definitely have more time to play. I could have the luxury of playing through the games I bought. I feel like I would appreciate them a bit more. As of now, it seems like when I finally do beat a game, I say to myself, cool, that was fun. Okay, what do I do, or what do I have on deck? Instead of maybe going back to complete side quests or something, says Rekka Renz. Yeah, and I feel the same way with RPGs now. It's like, now I'm just content just beating it, as to where in the past I wouldn't have been content unless I found out like every secret of that game. So that makes a lot of sense. Like nowadays, it's like if I beat a game, I'm like, oh, there's so much to do left still. Oh, but I got this shiny new game right here next to me. That is definitely a dilemma. All right, number 3. Number 3 comes to us from... There's no name. When you guys fill these out, make sure you put your name somewhere in your answer so that I know it's you. Number 3 says, this is a tough one, but I would choose to be able to buy loads of games but never have much time to play them. I choose this because I like playing games. I also like collecting games. Having loads to play, only 2 games a year, I would burn through them very quickly and get bored very easily. I feel the same way when it comes to that. Like nowadays, I feel like I just like to have all the games, right? Like when I get bored of a game, I have something to switch to. Number 4 didn't leave a name either, but this person says buying loads of games and having less time to play them is what this person prefers. Number 5 comes to us from Shell. Shell is in the chat right now. Shell says the second option is basically my reality at the moment, but would much rather have the other way around, I think. But more in a sense of really being thorough when it comes to buying games and getting the real gems and playing those and enjoying them. When Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and later on Fallout 4 came out, I got those and merely played anything else for long periods of time. By doing so, I really immersed myself into the games and did not waste time on lesser games, but also actually spent more time doing other creative things and hung out with friends, etc. Have been taking steps lately to try and get back to that and free myself of games I have instead of trying to play the ones that I really want to play and not wasting time on the crap, so to speak, says Shell. Says Jello. Very cool. I'll change the soundtrack. It's like gotten to all the part where...
Yeah, we need to get a wireless mouse.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? It's over
Get
here.
one on Amazon. On Amazon. Let's just go back. Let's go back and just pick a...
4.
One. Yeah, Street Fighter 4. There it is. Street Fighter 4. Where's like this? Is there a Super Street Fighter 4? There's right PC Gaming Champion Edition. That one.
This one?
Original. That next one.
Okay.
Sure, whatever. That works. Yeah, it's right there. All right. Number 5. Hopefully this doesn't have any lyrics. I think this has lyrics in it.
Does it?
Yeah. Maybe skip the next one, just in case. All right. Number 5 comes... Oh, that was Shell. Never mind. Never mind! Number 6 comes to us from Cassius. Cassius says, very evil, but 2 games a year. Evil question? Alright. Number 7 comes to us from Superboo85. Superboo says, think I'd rather just have a couple games a year and have time to play them over 10 to 20 games that I wouldn't have time to play very much, which is kind of like how it is now, though 4 to 5 games might be a better option, says Superboo. Number 8 comes to us from Red7. Red7 says, it has to be loads of time over loads of games every time. I would only get a handful of games when I was a nipper, but had the time to play them to death. You tended to appreciate games more, even if the cover tricked you into buying an unplayable turd. Swapping games and trading them is also an option, but it's impossible to trade or buy games or buy more time. That's true. That's very true. So yeah, he was saying that he would only get a handful of games when he was a kid, but have more time to play them thoroughly, which is very, very true. Alright, number 9. Number 9 comes to us from Kitsune-sama. Kitsune-sama says, hard question because having more time but only having 2 games to play would be a waste of time. But then if I had more games but little time, then at least it would be more varied. I would probably pick a variety unless only 2 games were MMORPGs, since those are never ending. So yeah, if MMORPGs are out of the question, then yeah, more games versus time, says Kitsune-sama. Alright, next one. Number 10 comes to us from GT Beakerman. Beakerman says this year would have to be like... He said this year I would like to have the time and energy to play all of the games that I bought in 2020. This is a long list of games. In my childhood, I didn't get many games per year, so it seems I'm making up for that now. That's pretty much how it feels like, right? Like, we're buying all the games that we couldn't buy as kids because now we have jobs and the money to do it, but not the time to do it because we have jobs to make the money to buy the games that we want to play. That's pretty much how it is, right? Like, that's the law. Alright, number 11. Number 11 comes to us from TG. TG says, I would rather have tons of games to play until my heart is content and not have the time. Shopping for games can be as addicting as playing games. Collecting games and sharing games with friends is fun too, because sometimes finding hard copies of games is difficult to do. It would be better to just acquire a shit ton of games at once, says TG. That's true. I mean, I don't know. This was actually a good question. I make fun of how long the question was, but it's actually pretty good question, because you ask yourself all these questions, right? Like, what would you do? All right, next one comes to us from Rovers. Rovers says the former, because that's pretty much the way it already is. Lots of free time thanks to COVID, and little money to spend on games. Also thanks to COVID. But I get to cheat a little bit too, because I can just spend all the time making games instead of buying them. Which I also already do, says Rovers. Number 13. Number 13 comes to us from Screw the Net. He's in here right now. He says, loads of games. If I can amass fabulous collection, I can retire off or pass to my children. Or time for 2 ultimate VR games. In the far future, I can get into the Matrix. Choices to Screw the Net. What? So many of his answers always have me questioning things. Alright, number 14. Number 14 didn't leave a name. I wonder if we can guess who it is. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mackenzie says, geez, Saru and Jesse, why would you ask such hard questions, lol?
You probably would have got that from that.
Yeah. I guess since I own a ton of games already that I still need to finish, I will go with option A. Remind me to finish East Memories of Celceta for my PS4. says Mackenzie. This is Mackenzie. Alright, and the winner for this week's weekly video game giveaway is Cassius. Cassius is the winner. He's long asleep by now, because it's like way past his bedtime. So he will get an email letting him know that he has won. But yes, Cassius is our winner for our weekly video game of the week. You guys know where to go. If you don't know where to go, you go to www.fxunituki.com for the video game giveaway, which I can go ahead and link, actually. It would have been nice to have that handy. Do you want to get it for me?
Yeah, I can do it.
Please? Congratulations to Cassius. Yes, Elvis Roa says rigged. Says Elvis Roa. There it is. Jesse's getting the link.
We will soon be switching.
Slowly but surely. But that's where they're at now. We'll be putting them eventually on sarumaru.com. I keep forgetting to get that stuff arranged so I can do that. But that's where the list is. As well as information about FX Unit Yuki. If you guys don't know, we created FX Unit Yuki. Me, Rover, Black Tiger, Garbled Waves. We created FX Unit Yuki. You can find out more about FX Unit Yuki at fxunityuki.com. And you can also find out about getting these awesome charms as well as the Sakura Shinguji. Thank you everybody for those who donated to get that one made. You can get charms like these ones by going to sarumaru.com and grabbing them while supplies last, because once they're gone, they're pretty much gone for good. But thanks to everybody who donated tonight to make this charm happen, especially Jeffrey Pampans with the crazy donation. He went to go have dinner, which we're going to go do as well. But thanks to Elvis Roa, Corbin in Japan, Jeffrey Pampans, Randrick, PCE Girl, and Marilyn Monrovers for donating tonight, for making this night happen. Or for making this charm happen. I was reading Elvis Roa. I was saying good night. But thanks to all these people who donated tonight to make this Sakura Shinguji charm right here, which is going to be super cute. I'm going to send one to Charlie Ward. He was excited about getting a Sakura Shinguji charm. He's probably long asleep too, because he's in the UK, but I will let him know that this is done. And he will also get one of these as well. But anyway, guys, thanks everybody for stopping in tonight. I really appreciate it. We will be back on, I'm not sure, maybe Tuesday, probably not till Thursday, we'll see. Depends on how my week goes and how much I get finished before the next stream.
I might do a Nintendo stream.
Oh, Jesse might stream.
On Tuesday.
Okay, so Jesse might do a stream on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, guys, thanks everybody for stopping in tonight. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.